Okay, so we're back, and I left off on the last video showing you the process for, and you can go back if you didn't see it, for categorizing, coloring your time categories. And I'm showing you this example. You can see that this person did all of these in different colors, has them laid out, and it's very viewable. You don't have to put sleep every time down. You can just leave it just with one category, but there needs to be a color for each category. In order to add up the total number of hours, this person did something that I thought was very well thought out, well done, was to do it for each day and then make a sum function at the bottom. That is not, and I'm going to repeat this again, not required. You can just take your calculator and put it on the chart that I'm going to show in a moment. But this is just one way to potentially do this. So this person just added up every column, did the sum of B54 to B63, and did it from there. Since I don't have editing rights to this, I can show you over here on this one. You can just put sum in over on the function tool, and the sum button will come up here. So therefore, you can do that if you'd like to, but you do not have to. You don't have to do it that way. You can just keep it color coded and then add it with the calculator. What you do have to do, however, to get to the meat of the matter, is you do have to add some sort of bar, pie, column chart. Either one of the three usually work best. You don't have to have all of them, just one of them. You can do that from Microsoft PowerPoint. You can do that from Excel. But I'm going to show you how to do it on Google Sheets because it's a fairly easy process. So I come down here because I want to make a new Google Sheet. So I add sheet, click the plus sign, click on add sheet, and then I can change the name of this sheet to time chart. Notice I changed the other one to time sheet. I can change this to time chart. Now I have a blank spreadsheet, as you can see. So I want to start typing in my activities. You should, as you evaluate how much time you spend in each category, put them in decreasing order, so that way your chart goes up and down from decreasing order. So I'm just going to make a mock one. I'm not going to, for the purposes of demonstration, account for all 168 hours. I'm just going to do some mock categories that everybody commonly has. Sleep, school. This person, let's say they played golf, and they did homework, hopefully, and they went to had some leisure time, whatever that was spent doing. You don't have to use the term leisure on yours, but let's say we spent time doing leisure. I'm doing this both across and down in a row and in a column, and you'll see why in a moment. It's basically because I need to be able to make a bar or column chart with different colors. In order to do that, you need to go diagonally, I've found out. So let's say I made 32, 14 for golf, homework, they spent 12, and leisure, we spent 10 during that 168 hours. Now I've got these coming down, and then these times are listed out, so it's fairly readable to be able to tell what time you spent on what. Then I need to highlight all of those. Highlight just by dragging my mouse down so they're all highlighted in blue. Then I need to insert a chart. Go to Insert, Chart, and it's going to allow me to pick my chart. You can see that it's already kind of pre-populated, so I'm going to select this column chart here. It looks nice. It looks attractive. It has a key, and it has labels on both the bottom and in a key. That was accomplished because I made a diagonal on the spreadsheet. I made the numbers go diagonally, added both columns and rows. If you only add columns or rows, all of these colors will end up looking the same, and there's no way to change them. So we're going to insert that right here, and notice how it's covering up my spreadsheet a little bit, but I can easily move that around. Notice how the title ends up being something by default what's in the columns. Well, you can go through and easily change that, and I'm going to change that to Dimich time management. I just right clicked or just clicked on edit and did that. I can change the font if I want to. I can make it a little bit bigger. So let's say I make it 20. I can change the color. Let's say I make it red. And then, oops, I had a misspelling. So I click on that, left click on that again, and fix that spelling. And click enter to apply. And it does. And now I'm good. Okay. You'll notice that because I put activity up in the corner, it gives me a horizontal label, but it doesn't give me a vertical label in terms of hours, and you need one of those. So if I right click to get up this edit menu, right click and click on axis and go on left vertical axis title, there it appears, and I can change that to number of hours. And maybe I want to make that just a touch bigger, so let's say I make that 13, enter to apply, and number of hours appears on the left hand vertical column. So now I've got all these, but notice how I don't have specific numbers on here. Incidentally, I can change this as well. I can make this, if I want to make this higher, I can make this higher. If I want to make this lower, I can make this lower, min, max. For me, this looks good. I can right click this, edit vertical axis label. I can make this, let's say I make this 10 to 90. I could change that if I wanted to, but I don't really want to, so I just want to go 0 to 90. So then 0, and I didn't put in a max in, so now I'm back to 0 to 80. The other thing that I can do is click on edit series, and I just left clicked on edit each of these. What that allows me to do is you could change the color of these if you wanted to, or you can, and this is important, you can put a value in for each category. So you can see it on here as well, and that's important. It makes the chart look more complete. So adding a value to each category. What I did there, once again, is I just clicked on the color bar and left clicked on the color bar, left clicked on the color bar, and clicked on data label value. Okay, so now the chart is starting to become looking more complete. I've got a title, I've got a column label, I've got a vertical and horizontal column label, activity, number of hours. I've got values for each of my activities. They go down in decreasing order, and that happened because I made sure that they went down in decreasing order. If not, you can go back up here and change those. The other thing that I can do is I can click on this advanced edit button over here. There's a little arrow. Lets me click on the advanced edit button, and I can change things like the legend, font. I can change things like the stack. If I wanted to reverse it and start at the bottom, going to the top, from least to most amount of hours, I could reverse it. I can change the background color if I wanted to change it to gray, but I don't really want to. I think white looks best in this particular case. I can change the title. This, if I click over here, is where I can change the chart types. And notice how some of these are grayed out because the way I enter the data does not allow me to do a pie chart. In a moment, I'll show you how to do that. But in terms of a bar chart, I can change it to a bar chart if I want to, and it gives me that. And you can change the bar chart, or you can keep it a column chart. However you wish to do it. Notice some column charts aren't as thick. You can change that down here as well. You can change it to this, but those don't really tell you very much. So you're probably better off sticking with a column chart that's a little bit thicker. Okay, so we can click on update, and now we have our column chart, and it analyzes our time. The one thing we didn't do is we didn't put a total number of hours in, and you need to make sure that those end up at a 168. So you need to put a total number of hours in up at the top of the spreadsheet. That needs to make sure that you need to make sure that that is there, the total number of hours on the spreadsheet. Okay, so now you've got a nice looking chart with a spreadsheet that breaks down the total number of hours, and we can move that down and even put the total here, and it breaks it down so that you've got the total here as well. However you want the total to appear. Just make sure that it doesn't affect your bar chart. But we only highlighted those parts. So now this is a very attractive chart that is completed. The only thing that we did lose for some reason was our values, and that was because I had showed you that you could add different types of charts. So I just went back and clicked on Edit Series, for each of them, and got the number of hours in there back to it needs to be. So that's a very attractive looking chart that gives you, the reader at a glance, your time management in addition to your paragraph. Okay, now to show you if you wish to do a pie chart. Okay, with the pie chart you're going to do the same thing, only you just need to put it in a column. Okay, you don't need to put column and row. So I will do that from here. School, and again, decreasing order would probably be best. So sleep, come back up, 62, school, 32, golf, let's say 14, and this is obviously just an example, homework, 12, and leisure, 10. Okay, so now I've got these here, and I'm going to highlight these by clicking on one and then just holding down my mouse, and dragging it down to get the blue highlighted. Again, I'm going to go to Insert Chart, and now I'll get a different variety of chart types that are available to me, and you'll know some of these pie charts available. Okay, this pie chart looks nice. You can have one with a donut hole in it. You can have one that's 3D. I kind of like the 3D one, so I think we're going to go with that. And so let's look at the 3D here. And I was just trying some of my options, but I don't need any of my options here. So let's just insert. Just make sure I click on Use Column A as labels, because it gives me my legend there. So let's insert that. Now it does kind of go over my chart, so I can put it over here. Now this again, once again, I need to do a little editing. I don't know how I feel about percentages here, so, and I can change colors if I want to as well for each category. If I want to edit the legend and make these a little bit bigger, I can. And I can change the font color if I want to. However I want to approach that. Over here, if I go to Advanced Edit, left click on Advanced Edit, I can make a title for the chart, Image, Time Management. And I can even make the font a little bit bigger, change the color if I want to. Same thing with the legend. I can change the font type to Arial. I can change the background if I want to make this a slightly different background. If I want to make this blue to stand out, I can do that. The slices, I can have it show a percentage, a value. I can have it show the label, or I can have it show none. In this case, I would stick to percentage or value in terms of the number of hours. Maybe in this case, let's do percentage. And click on it. If I maximize it, it shows it bigger, but then I lose my title. So let's keep that off. And I've got a chart here that shows me all of my percentages. If I click on these, incidentally, if I click on these, I'm in view mode. I go to the eye and click on view mode. It shows me the number of hours when I click on them. It's an interactive chart, so it works nicely when a reader is just kind of clicking on them to show the interaction. So I could, and it would do that in reverse if I showed the number of hours, but you've got the number of hours here. The only thing, once again, you need to remember to do is put the total. Notice how I skipped the line, skipped the row when I put the total. And that was because if I leave it in the other column, in this one, it will put it back in the chart, and we don't want to do that. So that is a pie chart and a bar or column chart, depending on which one you want to do. Two different ways to approach each of them. You only need one. You only need one, but each one will work just as well, whichever one you choose, as long as make sure you have all of the hours broken down for each category, from 6 to 10 categories, probably 10. You'll probably be more in the 8 to 10 range. You might even have 11 or 12. You might sneak that in depending how busy you are. And then make sure that your total number of hours is there. And that should give you a sufficient chart to go with your timesheet. Of course, then there's the paragraph that you should consult the rubric on the requirements for.